Well, I like the game. I like the pressure that and the energy that we had during that game, and how we also ended up, with all the dramas at the end, And you say, how Iran will they be able to come back and get through? How the defense of America, have been pretty much criticized throughout that World Cup, will handle it. Well, he went for the worst, for the best for the United States, and I'm pleased for the fans. It was a very good game. It's a good game. It's a game you want to watch during World Cup. I mean, uh, big games, so-called big teams, try to do the tactic before the energy. I love when teams are putting the energy before everything. Yeah, you can have a thought. Yeah, you can have a tactic. But what I like is the craziness that you put into the game. And we had the amount of craziness that we needed today.
We certainly did, Frank. We certainly did. When you see this US team, what are your thoughts on them? Do you think they can cause some more upsets along the way?
Well, now we're gonna reach the knockout games, and everything is possible. You take one games at a time, and the next game is against the Netherlands, who have proven that they are a good team, but they haven't proved that they are absolutely fantastic. I would say that United States would have played Brazil tomorrow. Well, the next game, I would say I'm concerned, but it's possible. The Netherlands, of course, if they play at their best, that's going to be hard. But right now they're not, and I think there is a little possibility for United States to go through and keep on, playing games after games and maybe reaching the semi-final. Of some people have said that they put them on.
What does your gut tell you, Luis, about this US side after these 3 games?
I think that we need to look at the facts. The facts have been that in this group, in Group B, the USMNT, whether it's not 90 minutes, it's definitely for the majority of the game. They've been the better team in every single game. They were the better team against Wales. It's just that a lack of, aggression and maybe more composure allowed Wales to come back in the first game. They were the better team against England, and they just couldn't finish. And they were the better team today against Iran. So we had an earlier show today talking about the Netherlands, and the Dutch camp is actually, the Dutch fans are a little apprehensive about Louis van Gaal's strategy. They're a little too defensive, a little too conservative for their liking, and it's there for the taking for the USMNT. So for somebody like Ale Bedoya or even, Frank realistically saying that, look, you can maybe go to the semifinals, you have to wait and see. It's definitely a possibility. It's just that 2 things worry me a lot. One of them, not a lot, but something to look, for Greg Berhalter to think about. One of them is that at halftime, when you're dominating those first 45 minutes, it can't be just 1-0. You have to take care of business because a stronger team, etc., just like the Netherlands, will take advantage. And then the other one, I'm still a little bit worried at the back. I think Tim Ream and Zimmerman have been tremendous. But then I think about Cody Gakpo, Memphis Depay. Okay, what's going to happen there? So I'm a little apprehensive, but sure, they can go further. They can beat the Netherlands. That's the reality of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but you know what? I hear this. I hear that it has to be more. And we've just heard it as well from Alejandro Bedoya when it comes to goals. But Frank, these games are so tense when you know the fine margins that are on the line, that surely, of course, it would be better to have a bit more of security. But surely just making sure you get that result is what matters most.
Yeah, it's all about what's going on in your head and how you handle the game, how you handle the pressure, how you handle your heights and your lows, and the game is full of details. And it's the team who resolve the more details who's going to win the game at the end. And you need also the part of luck that you absolutely need. I remember France, going through the extra time, against Italy, and Baggio hitting the post like 2 minutes before penalty kicks. And penalty shootout, and we won. So you need the luck. You can try to resolve everything you can, but if suddenly somebody puts a big shot, in the top corner from 30 yards away, there's nothing you can do. That's part of football. That's part of the thing that you have to understand and accept. But let's say that mostly is the team who handle the pressure the most and resolve the more details who have more chances to win.
Okay, here's a question for you and to Frank, of course, as well. But, you know, aside from the host, aside from Qatar, it's been pretty open, because even though Costa Rica got demolished in the first game against Spain, they beat Japan. Then you think about Australia, who got killed by France, but then they win their second game. It's pretty wide open right now. And now when we head into the knockout stages, obviously there's still more matches in the group stages to go. Would you define that this is one of the most open World Cups ever?
I mean, I don't know when I say ever, because I can't actually remember going through every group stage. But I do know that, yeah, the drama even going into these last round of games, something's at stake everywhere. You know, there was only a couple of teams that got the job done in those first two games. And so 3 teams, right? So I think that in that sense, the way it's got to this, it's been really good to see. And this is the last time we're going to see it, because obviously the numbers are changing when it comes to a World Cup. So it's definitely been wide open enough. I don't know what I can compare it to, though, now off the top of my head. What about you, Frank?
Well, the only concern that I have is the mind that the players sometimes show in their games, where I feel sometimes that they completely lose it. Remember Brazil against Germany, losing at home like crazy. I think it was 7-something. You have Germany losing 7-something against Spain. You have Iran losing 7-0 against England. And that's not possible. You know, you can lose your composure. You can lose a little bit of your frame time, you know, during a game. But you have to you have to come back into the game, and you have to show that you're a professional player. Now, if I have to compare with my generation, I would say that physically and tactically, all teams are more well prepared than they used to be when we were playing. The tactic, the power, the talent of some players were making the difference for the big teams. The differences between France and Saudi Arabia in '88 is we had Zidane, they didn't. Brazil had Ronaldo. In 86, you had Maradona. Maybe it makes the difference. It made the difference at the time. Now, even if you have Messi, it's not enough. If you have Ronaldo, it's not enough. If you have Mbappe, it's not enough, because you're going to face, you know, very well prepared tactically and physically teams.
Frank, you know, when I lived in Spain, there was this one question they used to always ask the manager before a game. And they used to always say about your opponent, which player would you rather take out of that side? If your France team were facing this US team, which player would you rather not have playing, because you see them as dangerous, you see them as very talented?
I will go for the captain. I think being in the middle of the park, Adams give the rhythm and the tempo of everybody. Yes, you have Pulisic. Yeah, today you had Dest, who played very well. It surprised me, because I wasn't pleased with his performances so far. But Adams has been very, very good every time. You know, giving, you know, mentally, tactically, all the strength that the American team needed. So yeah, if I had to avoid somebody, that would be the captain.
Ah, nice. What about you, Luis? Do you have a thought on that one? If let's say it was your Peru team having to face this US team, we won't even go with England right now, because that's happened already. Which is the player that you take out, do you think?
At this point, can I take out all of them regarding Peru? No, I'm agreeing with Super Frank Leboeuf. I think Tyler Adams, to me, I'm such a fan of his. We're a fan of his, but it's just the little things that he does that nobody notices. It's the leadership, it's the maturity. I mean, that goal that wasn't, when Weah like accidentally passed it to Sargent, or tried to and didn't score it himself. That was all Tyler Adams in the midfield. He's tremendous, and he's the heart. He's got like 3 lungs. To me, when you have a player like that in your squad, it really is almost impossible to replace him, because he brings you more than talent. So I'm with Frank. I think Tyler Adams as well.
Okay, well, we're going to have to take one man out of our lineup right now. That is Frank Leboeuf. He will be back, though.
He's got to shine his World Cup medal.
He's got to shine his World Cup. World Cup winners have to rest.
Au revoir, Frank.
Au revoir. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.